Do it.
There we go. And that is the best intro we've ever had to patch notes. Patch 5.12. So, we're here, talk about the patch, the notes, the things, and cover it in depth. We're 1 day behind, technically. Well, 1 day behind when we normally would do it, but that's it's all good. It happens.
It's my fault.
We're both busy people.
Yep.
And because of that, you know, the whole working thing, jobs, get in the way. But whatever, we're here now. It's time for the patch. Let's do it. Okay? So,
oh, yeah.
We'll do it. So, let's look at the patch. 5.12. Jungle diversity is a topic. Masteries, item, and nerfs to champions which some would find overpowered. And the first thing we have are VFX updates for Brand, Corki, Gallio, Nautilus. Hooray.
They all needed it.
Yeah, they did actually. So we got good VFX on them. Recorded line projectile skill shots. Long story short, they are fixing them.
Bugs.
There actually were a lot of bugs on a handful of them.
Yep.
Which is why I think they were going to fix them. I know, it's a crazy concept, really, when you think about it. It's absolutely outrageous. But, besides that,
yeah,
you know.
This beginning part is boring.
Yeah, it's boring.
It's boring.
So.
Read through that if you want to, but nothing will really affect you.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, recall changes. There are changes to recall. Nailed it. If you had an item shop, well, pay attention. Just pay attention while you're recalling. Don't just recall without paying attention. Although that's just general knowledge. Anyways, champion changes. God, feels like it takes a while to get to those almost nowadays. Ashe is the first person up on champion changes. Now on Ranger's Focus, now only grants 1 stack per volley or enchanted crystal arrow. So
this is huge.
Yeah.
So basically what this does is what people would do as Ashe is they would come up and they would like basically volley and W the wave and champions. And then they'd basically get full stacks on Q and just like murder you, like trade really efficiently. So this just basically makes it so she can't do that. So she's gonna have to be a little bit more conscious of her trading ability.
Yeah, she could trade way too easily.
Way too easy.
But I mean, this is, you know, the rework is, you know,
it's obviously gonna have some bumps.
Yeah, but I think she still has gone really smooth though, honestly.
Yep.
So that's, I mean, as much as it's a small change, it affects her a little bit, but she's still fine in my opinion. She's still gonna be good. So
yep.
Yeah, it's okay. The next change though, I do actually like quite a bit. We haven't really seen Braum a lot lately. I think most people would probably agree. Small change to Braum. On his Winter's Bite, the base damage is going to go up by 10 on all throughout as you level it up. So you get a little bit more damage early. Hooray, that's good. And the cost of it is being reduced, which is also kind of nice because, like, why not? It's just cheaper to cast. Like, really, it allows him to harass a little bit more in lane and kind of our more recent lane like champions have a little bit more harass since we do see Bard a little bit more now. Bard can harass Braum actually quite a bit, and you know it just a small change in adding that support unfavored Braum in the meta actually. So good change to Braum in my opinion.
He's still not going to be as good as Alistar or Morgana or Janna or Bard, but this will help. 10 damage is a lot early, especially when you can cast it more times just because it doesn't cost as much. It'll help you trade a little bit better, but he's still not going to be that top tier support, but he'll definitely be a close second tier. In my opinion.
I still think he has one of the greatest things on a support anyways with his shield. Like, damn, the shield, so good. So, also I think his ultimate can be quite good in certain fights.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Next we have Echo.
Okay, go ahead.
Calm down. In general, mana growth stat is actually going to be increased from 40 to 50. And then the basic attack speed is going to be reduced just a little bit, down 0.02 whatever, or 19. And attack speed growth is actually going to increase, so it'll increase as the game goes on. So instead of 3%, it's 3.3. Now, on his passive, his Z Drive Residence, where I think he actually gets most of his power, the base damage on that is 15 plus 12 per level. Right now, it's going to be 10 plus 10 per level. So they're taking a bit of power out of that. And then on his Time Winder, which is his Q ability, the initial hit ratio is going to be nerfed to 0.1. Now, that's only the initial hit, which is the first hit. So the one that comes back that always did more damage will still do a lot of damage, which it should if you're going to stand in the wrong way. Yeah, or if he's good enough to get himself in a position to obviously get the proc on it. And this didn't really actually scale from a crazy amount of ability power. So 0.1, whatever. It takes a little bit of damage out of it, but not a ton. I think one of the bigger ones, though, is this Chrono Break. It now does cost mana. It costs 100. Makes sense that it costs mana. Yeah, so he can't just dive you when he's which makes sense. And then the radius on that is being taken down by 25, which isn't like a huge amount, but it's still an effective amount because even before the nerf, there were a few times I thought I had them in it actually, and I didn't. So now this will make it even more of a like positioning thing to actually get the damage from it. And I think this is a huge part of his kit. People screw up all the time. People use it in defense, don't get me wrong, a lot. When I know you can't always use it offensively, but it really actually kind of sucks if you don't use your ult for damage occasionally because it's a lot of damage, and they did that on purpose because it shouldn't be simple.
Well, basically, it was really, really good for those like dives, especially in like LCS and stuff, because they would build them tank and then they just tank turret, and then they would just teleport out when they needed to switch turret aggro, which was just bullshit. So all of these nerfs to me are kind of focused at that jungling, like tanky echo. It will definitely affect his like overall kit, obviously, but the attack speed nerfs and then the damage on his Z drive are both jungling nerfs, to me. But like the biggest thing that I see is the 100 cost on the mana, because going from 0 to 100 is a lot. So I don't think he'll be like. I think he'll be played in the top lane now if he's played anywhere, but I don't expect to see him in the mid lane.
I think he does well in the top lane currently. I think he's mediocre, honestly, in the jungle.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, you can't build him damage, which is the problem. You have to build the tank.
Which isn't bad, but he doesn't. Yeah. He's just a weird tank, and he's not really an assassin. He just fits okay, in my opinion.
Yep.
I think he actually can have the most impact in the mid lane, but it'll also be the toughest in the mid lane.
Yeah. Well, and you're also going to be. It's going to be the shakiest, obviously. Like you said, the toughest. It's more late game, because if you get CC'd at all, like, you're dead. Essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, like, you can say that for any mid lane champion, but like, what made him unique was the fact that he could be kind of ballsy and go in. He's not like a Zed who has lifesteal and stuff like that and can kind of get away with that stuff and then, W back or, R back to his original clone. But I don't like melee mid laners that much anymore. They kind of fell out with the Azir stuff that's going on in the mid lane right now. Yeah. But that's just me.
Yeah. No, I mean, I honestly, I find him annoying when people are good with him. Outside of that, though, I didn't find Echo actually terrible to deal with. And everybody's initial reaction to a new champion is always that they're OP, which is hilarious because when Bard came out, people said that for like a minute, and they're like, wait.
Well, the problem with Bard is when you looked at his kit, the things that Bard does well, like, in theory, are really, really broken. Like, Magical Journey, the healing, and then just basically the roaming and the potential for multiple CC, like spammable multiple CC, was just ridiculous, but it's very hard to execute it. And so people realize that he wasn't that broken. So it's kind of
hither nor thither.
Hither nor thither.
But yes, I think Echo's probably gonna be in a fine spot. And the other big thing, and I'll talk about this too in an Echo build this week, is
Look forward to it.
Look forward to it. Besides that, Echo actually has a crazy losing ratio once he goes past 25 minutes in the game. Like, he does not transition into late game amazingly because he wants to assassinate and scatter fight. But when teams start to get together and team fight, he can do okay. But the problem is if he'll get focused and he has to all out and run away typically. And because tank meta has lots of CC involved, he typically doesn't excel. So, because he's a very squishy champion.
He's basically like LeBlanc was before she got reworked.
Yeah, actually.
Or like before they took away her silence. And like reworked her damage.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, that is going to be Echo. So we'll move on from his nerfed lifestyle to Elise, who's seeing changes this patch. First off, Skittering Frenzy on her W is being removed. It no longer adds an on-hit heal to Elise and her spiraling basic attacks, but they're moving it basically. So on her E, her repel, increases the bonus damage and healing from Elise's spider form attacks by blank percentage over 5 seconds upon landing. So this will actually scale with her later on throughout the game because you're not going to, be maxing E out first on her typically. And then on her ultimate or her spider form, this is new now. Each of Elise's basic attacks in spider form will heal her for a flat amount plus 0.1 of ability damage. So basically, what they're trying to do with Elise is bring her some more survivability that she was already having in the jungle and bringing that to a fight more so when she's in spider form, which is typically what she actually does jump into a fight with. And this is going to kind of help bring back, I think, an AP Elise, actually the damage Elise, because for a long time after they nerfed her numbers on it, the tank Elise came into favor, where you were basically just a cocoon, throwing machine. That's all you really did with
CDR.
max cooldown. Yeah, with max cooldown tankiness. Now it's going to transition back to, hey, we can heal you and give you a little bit bonus damage and yada yada healing, blah blah blah. If you build some actual AP to get to scale, and therefore you can live and deal damage in a fight. And I actually think right now, like AP at least actually doesn't do terrible as long as you don't miss your cocoons, which is a big part of that. But I think this will actually really help her, hopefully. And they've been trying their best to slowly bring the spider back up. So.
Yep, in my opinion, she's going to be one of those champions, kind of like Rise, where she just
surprises everybody.
We'll just roller coasters the whole time. Like,
yeah, she might.
She's either going to be really overpowered or she's going to be completely useless. And not played at all.
People think she's still useless right now, and I don't think she's useless right now. I think she's all right.
Neither was old Rise, like before they buffed him and then they reworked him. Like, he wasn't useless, but like he wasn't that top tier, which people need to understand that there's always going to be a top tier, like there's always going to be a top 3 top laners. There's always going to be top 3 mid laners.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just like the revolving door, like which one is it now kind of a thing. But Elise is always going to be like close to either being drastically overpowered or being completely useless in the competitive scene.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. But I think I think she still has some value right now, personally. So try her out. Like, honestly, she's actually, and I think she's actually really fun to play, personally.
Yep.
Call me cray. So
I think she's fun. Her combo's really easy.
It's also true. Her ganks are so effective, too. They're pretty simple, because she doesn't have to jump in, but she can just throw a cocoon. It's easy.
Yep.
So, next we have Gallio, which 0% of 0 players play. On his ultimate, they are going to change the base damage to be less, but not by a lot. But what they're going to do to then fix that is increase the damage per hit to 10% instead of 5%. And then the maximum damage cap is going up a lot, actually. Instead of 40%, it's now 80%, which is quite a bit more. Maximum damage output is also higher. So his ultimate now deals damage.
This, obviously, you can't just like completely ignore these changes, because they do help him a lot. But the problem with Gallio is you can Mikhails, you can QSS, you can, clarity, or not clarity.
Cleanse.
His ulti. So it's just like, I don't know, you build, like, if you're a main target, you just build one item and then he's nothing.
Yeah, kind of.
He does hurt. His Qs do hurt. But he is a melee mid laner again. So.
Yes. Ugh. It doesn't help him at all.
Yeah, it's not a huge thing. I don't think.
That's what his shield's supposed to do, though, is help him with that. But
yeah,
even so, he just doesn't quite fit right all the time. All the time. Gallio's like a shitty Amumu.
yeah.
Kinda. Yeah, very similar in different ways. But
like, you can hide a Mumu in the jungle like for a while until the other jungler invades. But like, you can't do that with Gallio. Gallio's not a jungler. You can't. You're gonna what? Send him top?
The only time I ever would attempt to recommend a Gallio is you're in draft. Somehow you got left with last pick mid lane, and the whole enemy team, besides the AD carry, is all mage. They have an Elise, a Maokai, a LeBlanc, and a Zyra support. And you're like, well, shit, I'm going to need magic resist. I'm like, and even then, that's not even a great reason. But that's the only time I'm like, yeah, I should play Gallio. Like, that's the only time.
But how often? Let's be real. How often do you get all the way through draft and have last pick and get mid lane?
Not that often.
It's usually like first pick.
Oh, that's funny though.
The Fat Man.
The Fat Man is next. His name is Gragas. He's going to be getting a nerf. Now, he's a top 2 jungler right now.
He's probably the top jungler right now.
He was. After these nerfs, I would say he barely slides below it.
Yep.
Then, so on him is his base health regen is actually being decreased, and the health regen stat is also being reduced. So, just some regen stuff there to him. You could actually sneak around because of his passive and stick around a lot longer than most people, or stick outside of a fight for a second and come back in. So that kind of takes a little bit of power out of him here. And then the other thing that they're doing is his barrel roll. The slow duration on that is being decreased from 2 seconds to 1.3. And barrel roll slow duration now also increases up to 150% of the cask ferments over 2 seconds. So
basically, it's going to be the same thing if it sits there the full 2 seconds.
But it never does.
If you crack it early, it's only going to slow for 1.3.
Yes.
Which, the big thing here is the base health regen to me, because he won't be able to just always be healthy in the jungle as much, because 3 is a lot. And the barrel roll is kind of whatever to me, because you have barrel roll to slow them, and then you have the body slam to catch up. So in my opinion, him and Rek'Sai are probably like right there.
Yeah, Rek'Sai's the other one. So after Sejuani got so many nerfs, she fell a little bit, but she's still fine. You just actually have to hit things now, and and she won't solo an ADC. But yeah, Gragas is still going to be good just because his kit allows him to be good. But besides that, Gragas got a nerf, but it's okay. He's okay.
Yep.
Next
He's
is
good.
Yeah. Yes. Next is J4.
Oh yeah.
His Demacian standard is going to get cooldown, which is kind of nice, honestly, because 13 seconds at all ranks is kind of crap, especially since this is a big part of his kit. Like, you need this to flag and drag. It's kind of a big... So now that it can cool down means he's actually going to be way more effective when a team fight is longer than one initial burst starting in the fight. So that's really, really good. Demacian standard no longer confuses the pathing of jungle monsters, which is also kind of helpful if jungle monsters go full retard on them. So
when they nerfed his Demacian standard, gosh, what was it, like 5 patches ago, I started maxing W, and with this change, I'd probably still put like 3 points in W. Like, obviously max Q first, but I'd probably put 3 points in W and then max E. This doesn't change too much, but you're going to want to get that full cooldown, that 11-second cooldown, by like the second-ish drag fight.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where he's at, or like a Baron fight, because you want to have that like second round of damage, like you were talking about. But Jarvan's still kind of lacking.
Yeah.
The other 3.
Yeah. He is. Yeah, he's weird because he's got great passive, and he can do outrageous damage. Thanks, Gamsu. But I don't know. He has like a weird transition period though, where he has some okay damage, but he doesn't really have good defense stats because they actually took him away from him. So he's got this weird transition period where he doesn't really have a set role, which is
Yep.
weird. He really kind of is item dependent in certain cases. So yeah, I still like Jarvan. He's still fun to play, obviously, but
He basically becomes in that lull period that you're talking about, like early mid game. He basically becomes a casting AD dealer. Like he's going to EQ you, ult you, and then hopefully he did enough damage for his team to clean up the fight.
yeah,
Because he's not going to live out of that.
not typically.
So he's still in that kind of shaky stage.
Yeah, he's still good though, and we've seen more play from him. So might want to try him out if you're looking for somebody slightly different and who can get in, because he can get in quick too, which is kind of nice if you're just looking to get in there. So next we have the Jax. I actually like this change. I know Jax can always be a powerhouse, but we actually haven't seen him like just specifically like wrecking for the past probably season, since season 3.
Season 3, yep.
Yeah, so what happened is on Grandmaster's Might, they're going to give him more bonus armor and magic resist. It's just going to go up by a bit. 20, 35, 50 is now 30, 50, 70. So it kind of helps his late game, which it's not like it was bad, and it helps his early game a little bit too. I mean, it just kind of helps him in general. It just does a little bit more.
Yep.
So I just think that's really nice. So.
It doesn't change what Jax is about at all, because Jax's whole thing is if he can get ahead early, he's just going to basically win the game on his own. And this still does that. He'll just be stronger in the late game.
Mm-hmm.
Because you either do that or the game has to last. If you get picked on in lane and you get like if you lose lane really hard, you just have to wait until you reach that 4-item point where you have like Trinity Force, Randuin's, a magic resist item, and then boots. So to me, it's kind of like it doesn't change him at all, but it helps. So
it does.
You can't argue with helping. I like buffs, especially when they're on Jax.
What was I gonna say? The next thing I want to see them do with Jax is better clarity on his ultimate over the whole duration of his ultimate.
Yeah.
Just because it doesn't look like it does anything, so sometimes you don't actually know if he actually like activated it in the middle of a fight, so, or if he had it. So, I think that'd be cool. So.
Yep.
Next, though, on the list of the changes is Lux. These are actually quite good for her. On her prismatic barrier, Lux gets shielded immediately on cast, which makes perfect sense. So,
yep.
Hooray for that. And then on her E, her singularity, the slow zone radius is actually going to be increased a little bit, which helps her, but she still has many other problems. We'll get to those in a second. Can be recast in flight to detonate on arrival. That's pretty big, to use it immediately and not get some kind of weird delay, which is kind of nice. Now has a neat light swirl to indicate when the ability is ready to be detonated. Also kind of neat. So,
Lux still has the same problems. She's really mana efficient, and she actually really doesn't have good clear because she's so mana inefficient. And like obviously when you hit 6, you have your laser beam, but if you're clearing the wave at level 6 with no CDR with your ulti, something's going wrong.
Yeah.
And so she still has the same problems, but once again, buffs on underplayed champions never hurt.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the big thing is though, if they just tweaked some mana numbers on her, she would have a better chance, because right now she either has to use all of her poke to get you away from her, because she can't do it to farm at all, like to keep
the wave in a reasonable spot.
Yeah, she struggles with it.
And she can't last hit at all on her turret because her auto attacks are so weird.
Yes, they help her while she's in the lane, but underneath the tower, it is wonky. So, if you can get it slightly ahead with Lux, you can steamroll, in my opinion. But they also took a little bit of that out of her kit when they nerfed her ultimate's cooldown. So, it's what it is. I don't hate Lux. She just needs some changes. Help Rito, please. Next, we have Malphite. They had some changes to him in the past patch, but what they're going to do now is change those around. On those brutal strikes of his, they're going to take the base damage of it and take it down actually 10, but they're going to give it a better ability power ratio or actually a worse ability power ratio technically. It's 0.1 instead of 0.15, but they're going to give it an armor ratio. So it's going to actually get more scaling later and as the game goes on because you're going to have an armor ratio because you're Malphite. So that part helps them out actually quite a bit, and the splash area is being increased by 25, so another good change. And they fixed a bug where Brutal Strikes could be seen through the fog of war, which obviously is a problem because that's a problem.
Malphite is pretty good in low elos. He's very reliable, and people don't properly know how to play around his ulti.
That's true.
But like he won't be a top champion, like a top tier champion for like high elo or like even LCS. You might see him like here and there with like Yasuo pick comps or something like that, but he's not good in high elos. He's mainly like a low elo pub stomper. So that's just my opinion. I don't think this damage change really affects him too much, but it obviously hurts the AP Malphites that they were trying to bring back last patch. But it's kind of whatever.
It is kind of whatever.
Yep.
Next on the list is something I can see people are already confused about in the comments. Kyle, off the top of your head, what would you say happened to Rise?
So people get confused because they see that like a lot of the stuff doesn't have to do with damage, and he actually got more damage on his Q. Well, what the problem with Rise is you would just max W, and then when you processed your passive stacks or whatever, you could basically just perma-root people.
Yes.
And that is bullshit. And so basically this whole thing is now they're taking everything out of the W and they're making it all in the Q. So you're going to start maxing Q now.
Like normal.
Not like you should, and you won't be able to perma-snare people, and Rise will still be good, but he won't be the must-ban every game.
Exactly. And the other thing this does too is people look at it and they're like, well, wait, this is just a giant buff. But no, the perma-root was the problem, which was giving him all the damage, and now the scaling will effectively look like he scales really well into late game, which is something he's always done. So realistically, let's talk about the numbers. So his passive's duration went from 6 seconds to 2.5, and then the stack duration went from 12 to 10, and the cooldown floor was removed.
Yep.
So that's been changed quite a bit. Now his Q increases duration of the Arcane Mastery Supercharged effect to 3 all the way up to 5 seconds. So it gets close to the old part, but not all the way there.
It's actually 7.5.
Oh, is it 7.5 on top of the 2.5? Okay. So it makes it longer, but you have to max out first. And then the base...
Oh, no, it is 5. Increase the duration
to 5. Yeah, so it's 5.
You're right.
Okay, I was going to say it's shorter. So it's shorter, and the base damage is actually decreased earlier, which is on the first rank. That's just so he can't crazy bully at level 1. He actually has to hit like 4, once you have more of your abilities too. And then he does get more damage late game. Whatever. He's a late game monster. He should have some damage, honestly. Cost on it is going to be 40 at all ranks. It actually is higher early, so that actually is not good for him. And the missile width is up by 5. Whatever. It's a skill shot.
Yep.
Yeah. Rune Prison, though. This was the big one. The root duration is going to be 1 to 1.4 instead of 0.75 to 1.75. And the base damage is slightly increased. So there's numbers that are up, but it's because of his passive, which was killing everything.
W will be one of those things where you put 1 point into and then you max out Q and E. And your Q, it's kind of almost like a Vladimir mechanic where you're going to be, your strongest point is when you hit, like, you will reach max power when you hit level 9. And then, like, not max power, but just, you'll have the most at level 9. And then everything else is just item-based.
Yes. So basically, the moral of the story, perma-root can't happen.
Yes.
At level 2.
Yep, there was no perma-rooting anymore, which was a huge problem.
That was the problem.
Good job, Riot. It took you 2 patches, but
I think they knew what they were gonna actually do, but they just couldn't patch it into the because it like by the time everybody was exploiting it, yeah, it snuck the hell up on it. So hopefully this doesn't happen as much in the future. So
hopefully,
yes. So as much as we see buffs within it, it's a nerf. So
it's a nerf. It's a huge nerf.
Yeah. So next is Trundle. Subjugate. Health drain is being increased at later ranks.
Is that? So wait, is this?
You drain more health out of them.
Is it bait or like current health or total health?
I think it's current health.
Okay. Well, like we said, buffs to underplayed champions never hurt.
Yeah, no. Here's the problem. We got the tank meta, and one of the best tank killers, quote unquote, in the game, like, isn't being played at all. Something's obviously wrong with a tank killer's kit if they're not being played at all. So, Trundle should, honestly, like, if a team decides to pick a couple tanks, a team should feel that Trundle, even on the professional stage, is a legit counter pick, and he's not getting picked right now. So, because I'm not saying his ult's the only thing, but I mean, like, Malphite gets played so much, like, why isn't Trundle a counter pick? Like, honestly. Why doesn't he just eat through his stats and steal them? Because that's what Trundle does. He's a tank killer. Like, why are we not doing that? So, it's nice that they're doing this, but...
Is it enough?
Mm-hmm. He drains the life force enemy champion, dealing damage from blah, blah, blah. 40% of the target's armor had been...
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, it's the target's maximum health, so for the
Yep.
initial damage. So
Okay.
I was just double checking. So
Good.
I wanted to know. So, but yeah, that was him. So next we have Tryndamere. I think I said that right.
Mr. Merrill.
Mr. Merrill, yeah. Tryndamere's critical strike attack frame is increased by 16% and now matches his basic attack frame.
This is actually really huge.
Yeah.
Because what happened was you basically crit all the time with Tryndamere, like when you get, one item. And you basically have slower attack speed, and you would actually have a whole bunch of times where you could auto-attack cancel because it had 16% more time for him to go up and make the animation. And so this is basically just them fixing something that shouldn't have been there anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good change, but I don't want to see any more Tryndamere.
Yeah, I remember when he was annoying for like a couple seasons, and I got over it real fast. I was like,
I don't hate it when he's on the other team. I hate it when he's on my team, and then people build Devourer on him and never come out of the jungle. And I just honestly want to punch people right in the noggin.
Do it. I'll help. I'll hold him down.
Good.
You punch. Next, and finally for champions, we have Zilean. On his rewind, they fixed a bug that was causing Zilean's QWQ combo to fire slower than intended.
So now it's faster.
This affected me so many times. Oh wait, no, it didn't. I haven't been playing him.
Who plays Zilean?
I have lied. Yeah.
And maybe a splash art.
Yay, Nivea's splash art. She looks evil and not 4 years old.
Yeah.
So, solid.
She looks like a badass bird, a badass Articuno bird.
Thought by it. Yes. So, a Nivea splash art. Next, we actually have an item change. Let's talk. Quote unquote, the name of the game is Jungle Diversity. And among this day in Jungle Diversity, we see the removal of Magus and the replacement of the Runeglaive. So what Runeglaive is going to do is bring back Jungle Diversity, starting with the AP. It's not. I know I lied. Bringing back the damage AP junglers. So, or not all of them, but some of them. The cool thing I like about the item, okay, so first off, what it costs, obviously, is your jungle item, and then a sheen and 200 gold. So it's going to have a sheen proc of some type inside of it, which we'll talk about. It gives you 40 ability power. Pretty standard stuff. Not actually a lot, though, but it's jungle item. 10% cooldown reduction. Whatever. It gives you 10% cooldown reduction from a non-cooldown reduction item, so okay. And then 200 mana, better mana pool. The unique passive, though, I do find interesting. Spellblade, after using an ability, the next basic attack is converted into magic damage and deals 75% base attack damage, 0.3 ability power, and the bonus of bonus damage on hit in an area of effect around the target and restores missing mana, 8%. Part of me, I need to use this item more before I make more of an assessment on it. I like the ideas behind it, but I'm still not sure it's perfect.
Diana,
Diana.
really benefits from this.
I'm trying to think who else would benefit, though, really well from it, because not all AP junglers benefit from Sheen. Some do, some don't. Obviously, Diana is one of them.
I'll probably try Akali. No, wait, no.
I'll try it on Elise, but I'm not actually sure I want it on Elise.
I think actually it would work. I don't know. It's kind of
yeah, it's in between, honestly.
It's kind of weird that they did this though, because like the only like I said in the last patch notes, the only jungling item you should get is Cinderhulk.
Yeah.
And so like they're giving this love to try to buff the AP champions, but why not change some of the 80 ones if that's or just nerf Cinderhulk? Because basically,
well, they did nerf Cinderhulk.
Well, again, like if you buy a giant spell, it's more gold efficient than any other jungling item in the game.
People are saying Nidalee, so yeah, okay, Nidalee.
Yeah.
No, not Eve. Eve is a tank. Stop building her AP.
But
Eve was AP 8 million years ago. She's not AP anymore.
But this, you open up possibilities like, because me personally, I don't want to play tank Evelynn in a solo queue game where I have to rely on other people, or like where I don't want to rely on other people. So this opens up that door. Do I think that you should go in that door? Probably not. But I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. Jungle Fizz could actually use it.
But even Jungle Fizz, you just build Skirmisher Saber and Cinderhulk.
That's true. You just go tanky with him because of his base stats. He doesn't need the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's who needs the damage, and right now it's Nidalee and Diana, maybe Elise. That's it.
It's
because the other ones are just I'm trying to think anybody else. AP Jax Jungle. No, I'm going crazy. That was an old thing. That was old. But yeah.
We just threw that one down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
That's about it. AP Poppy. I was no, you just get Triforce. Actually.
AP Alley Star. Nope.
Get him out.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm interested to see what it does for this so-called jungle diversity. I could be wrong, obviously, and we could see the LCS players just abuse it on something we didn't think of. But chances are, Taric jungle AP. Look out, he's coming for you. So change to Cinderhulk as well. Cinderhulk now only turns on its damage aura when the champion deliberately enters combat.
Yep.
Which I guess makes
sense.
Basically,
it would always be on, and then you just walk past a camp, and the things would start to follow you. And
hello there, jungle.
Yeah, it's all right. People are saying fiddlesticks for the Runeglaive, but the Magus was better than Runeglaive.
Yeah.
Was for Fiddlesticks. So this is actually hurts Fiddlesticks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The other thing is some people are saying Echo, and Echo actually just has his damage right now is actually in the base stat of his passive. He doesn't scale crazy. The only thing that scales crazy on Echo is his ultimate, which everybody uses in defense. So just tank Echo and just get your autos off. Stack them in threes. Stun some people and get a shield. That's what Echo Jungle is all about. It's just tank. It's play tank, get a shield and stun, and just kind of have an annoying passive. And you're like Olaf. You just kind of brawl around.
Yep, you're always there.
Yeah. So.
And you can't be killed.
Not typically. Next, we have the defensive masteries. I
honestly don't really have any comment on these. Like, when I looked through them earlier today, I was like, oh, well, this is kind of interesting, this is kind of interesting. But most of it is just the switching of where they are, and then they removed Runic Blessing, which, like, I don't think if I saw someone with Runic Blessing in the game, I was like, we're going to win. And, like, so it was just a bad mastery. No one ever used it, so they removed it, and they introduced the adaptive armor, which is kind of dumb. But I still go, like, even in jungle, I go like 21-9 or, you know, I think I always go 21-9
in jungle.
21-9-0. Yeah, even on like Sejuani and stuff, just because. Or not Sejuani, like, whenever I play, like,
Rek'Sai?
I play a lot of Lee Sin.
Okay.
But, like, yes, you go down the defensive tree for these tank junglers, but do I think any of this will affect them a whole bunch. Probably not.
No.
Like honestly, it's very minor changes. They're just trying stuff out. They want to get to a place for Worlds, which is just around the corner.
100 days away. Yeah. So position swapped with Runic Blessing tier 5, yada yada. 2% instead of 3%. Runic Blessing removed. Tenacious lane swap positions with now tier 3 with oppression. Tenacity down from 15% to 10, so like actually nerfed for most of these. Lane swap positions with Tenacious, final tier. Points required, only 1. Instead of granting like 1 to 4 and 0 to 2, it's 3 and 3, which is kind of nice. Like, that's actually a kind of nice change. But everybody will have it, so big friggin' whatever.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody will have it, but everybody who goes all the way down obviously will all have it. So that helps the tanks in the late game, but whatever. Enchanted armor, like you said, now 4 points, scales to 10%. But
people are crazy, like going crazy about this enchanted armor thing, and you have to realize that it's off of bonus armor. So like if you have 200 armor, like bonus armor, if you're completely armored out and you have 200 bonus armor, you get 20 more armor.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, and you're spending 4 mastery points on that.
And it's tier 5.
And it's tier 5.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
it's only going to affect super tanks, and they're already super tanks.
Yeah.
Like that's
how
what
much
it is.
more armor do you need at that point?
Tons. I need tons.
No.
I need tons of armor. I have to have at least 600 AD to get like armor, like 600. Yeah, no, I don't. I was lying. Swiftness, also 2 points, and slow resistance gets a little bit of an increase, whatever. And then adaptive armor at tier 4, so the 4% of your bonus armor. Blah 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 blah. So the big question I know people have been asking me is, Badger, are you going to rework your mastery videos because of the changes to the support tree? Since I did a big video of like generic mastery pages to set up and use for that will work for a lot of champions basically.
And you said no, and now you're going to do it because there's 2 trees.
No, I didn't say no, but what I'm going to say is more than likely now I will be revisiting that video and remaking those. But I'm going to wait just a little bit to see if they make any changes in the offensive tree. Because now that they have hit these 2 trees back to back, I'm afraid they're going to tweak something in the offensive tree. I'll make videos and then I have to remake them all over again. And like, as much as that wouldn't be a terrible thing, that's just really actually annoying. So we'll see. So we'll do that soon. Ish. Got him.
So
Mm-hmm.
the base turrets change is really interesting. They basically are pushing the game into an aggro point because the base turret's no longer slow and they no longer reduce the target's damage. So it's going to be much easier to dive the base turrets. So they must have thought that the 20-minute standoffs on this base turrets and like LCS got kind of boring. So
they're effective.
I like the change.
Yeah, they were effective in what they did. Trying to think if I'd rather have one gun than the other.
One gun?
One gun over the other
Oh.
instead of both?
Well, obviously for a defensive standpoint, you would probably want to reduce the damage, but at the same time, most of the time the person that's tanking isn't dealing damage anyway.
Yeah.
So probably slows just so you can kite backwards faster. And then from the offensive point, obviously you would probably want everybody to deal full damage. So
Yeah. I like it. Makes sense. I'm okay with it. The slow is the most annoying thing, honestly, in my opinion. So
Yep.
that was annoying.
Yep.
Bug fixes on the Rift. Champions no longer get stuck in walls when trying to move from the fountain to the top of bottom lane via minimap movement command. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that.
I
But
haven't,
you would
actually.
click on the minimap and your character would just go in the base. Like that's literally what they did.
That's pretty good. I like that.
So yeah, it didn't happen very often, but oh well.
That was good. Players no longer lose. Alright, good. Vel'Koz, W Void Rift no longer creates a targetable unit at the moment of detonation. Interesting. Trinity Force. Probably grants move speed bonus to kill. There's a bug where Titan's passive was dealing full damage to turrets. Whoops. Wait, that was a bug. I thought they fixed that a long time ago. Mistakes have been made. Ardent Sensor, Baron Nashor, Twin Shadows, Mafia Jinx.
Oh gosh.
What?
Nothing. This all is completely irrelevant.
And Leonis. Auto attack. Cool. More bugs.
Pool party skins. Woo!
Pool party skins. Here they are. Let me know which ones you guys might not get or might get.
I'm totally getting all of these.
Are you gonna go for the bundle?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna get Draven. I'm gonna get Gragas. I'm gonna get Zac.
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna get all of them but Lulu, because Lulu can just, honestly, pardon my French, but go eat a dick. I'm a kitty and I'm slowed.
I'm a kitty and I'm slow. I don't think the community gets the free.
They do not. And people got really upset. They were like, "Why did you create a goal that wasn't obtainable?"
Well, you guys, all you had to do was play the game.
Well, they were just like, we wanted it to be like an actual achievement if you got it. Like,
yeah, makes sense to me.
Like, they didn't want people to get on and just be completely done with this whole contest in 3 days. So, should have played more.
Yeah, got him.
But at least we got the minions.
That's true. We do get the minions.
Filet minions.
So the other thing we get in this patch is a few more Chroma Packs. I don't know how you guys feel about the Chromas.
Zac, yes, I'll take 2. Except for 2 of them look very similar.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling that way when they're like.
With the orange one, like, look.
Yeah, that's lazy. That's what that is.
I'm definitely getting me some Majin Buu though.
The pink one. Everybody wants bubblegum Zac.
Yep.
So, Chroma Packs, I still haven't made my mind up on them. I'm okay with them, but I really just also don't care. So.
I bought the Jax one.
Did you?
Yeah. The Jax skin one.
You would.
Pack. Yeah. I would. I did.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Jack, and that's the thing. Somebody just said it actually. Zac's chromas are basically skins because what the hell else are they gonna do to him? Like.
Obviously they're gonna do what they did with the pool party. Duh.
Well, I guess you could, but I'm just saying, he's not exactly like got tons of accessories. He's just glob.
He could have accessories.
He could, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's the Chroma Pack skins as well. So. And then that's it for the patch. Not the craziest of patches. A few necessary changes, though, I would say, with Rise for sure.
Ash and Echo.
Echo location. But yes. Yeah. That's the patch notes. That's pretty much it. Let us know, obviously.
5.12 is done.
It's done. Let us know what you liked or didn't like in this patch, what you want to see in the future patch down below in the comments, or if you're watching this live right now, you can just put it in the chat box. If you missed the live viewing of this program, that's okay. It's gonna be posted immediately after on to the YouTube. So either or, it's all good. We're just doing it live now because for funsies, and yeah.
People want to know if you've seen anything about Tom Cock.
Tom, yes.
Yeah.
It makes me hungry for fish.
Oh yeah.
I need to look into him more. He's not going to be out for another couple weeks at least, probably.
Yeah, well, it's not even this. It's next patch, so.
And they need
probably closer to a month.
Are they going to not? It's been 2 weeks between each patch.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, we've been doing every 2 weeks.
2 weeks, indubitably.
Roughly 2 weeks if everything gets if everything goes well on the PBE.
Yes.
From what I've seen early on already, there will be a few tweaks to his kit. It'll change.
Yep.
I just want to go ahead and address something someone said about. Bard sucks. That's incorrect. He's actually decent. Just don't be bad.
Really good.
Yeah.
So what I like, I just want to kind of touch on it. Like what I like about Tom Cock is, like, when they ported over a whole bunch of Dota champions, I forgot what the champion's name is, but they ported over one and it came out as Karma.
It did.
And for some reason they didn't make the ulti the same. And they're finally putting that mechanic into League of Legends in the form of Tom's ulti.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of excited. That's a really cool mechanic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm gonna say that much.
Interessante.
Although I believe my jaw hit my table like 6 times when I watched his like abilities. I was like, wait, what? Why is he swallowing everyone? But it's whatever.
Yep. I think I like the mechanics.
The mechanics I'm fine with. The only thing I actually wish they would have fixed is made him look like he fits slightly better, like looking wise. But
yeah.
I still don't really care. So, but yeah, that's gonna be patch 5.12. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Obviously, people who makes it to the ends, we love you most. And that's gonna be it from us. We'll see all of you guys in the next patch for sure, and we will see all of you guys also later. And goodbye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.